Good morning, everyone. My name is Reverend Dr. Alice Reid, and I'm so happy to have you join us this morning for our solstice celebration. The holidays are here. Kelly, thanks for giving my talk and song. Yeah, we are always blessed to have you with us here today. Let's give Kelly another hand. So, Grand Rising. Welcome to this. The holidays are really starting now for me. I think as there's a lot of preparation. I think something like June, the Christmas decorations come out. No, that's not feels like it though, doesn't it? They come out pretty early with the retailers. But for us, as we enter into what I like to call the holy days, not only the holidays, but the holy days, we have an opportunity to really begin to do some spiritual practice. And so I'm going to invite you to do some spiritual practice both this week and next week as we step into the in-between space where the year isn't quite over, where while this is the solstice and tonight will be the longest night of the year, the light it's not like somebody flicks the lights on and we have sun until 9 o'clock at night. It's a slow process. It's a slow process. And so there's a number of holidays that we recognize this time of year, and they all have things in common with them, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that common thread. Today is the 8th day of Hanukkah, and tonight people who practice the ritual of Hanukkah will light their menorah at sunset. They'll light that 8th candle. They'll recognize and honor that celebration of the return of the light. And today is the final Sunday of Advent that many Christian individuals practice, that idea of making preparation for the renewal of life. And of course, we have solstice, and that is the time-honored practice of welcoming the return of the light. And all these practices have that one common thread of light within them. When the Maccabees, many thousands of years ago, when the Maccabees were in Greece and they had conquered and retaken their land and were getting ready to consecrate their temple, they required 8 days of oil. And the miracle was that they really trusted God. And they went ahead with their sacraments, the consecration of their holy temple that they had regained control of. And lo and behold, they had enough oil for all 8 days. They trusted. And when we look at this practice of Advent, this is where I'd like to say the early practitioners of what we now know as Christianity began to have a different understanding of God. They had a different understanding that prior to that, God was something external. And when we look at this practice of Advent and Christmas and what that brings forward to us, it is actually the recognition of the incarnation of God in human form. Now, somewhat limited to one person as it is practiced by Christians, but we know as practitioners of this philosophy that Spirit incarnates in form in each one of us, that each one of us is an emanation of Spirit, of light, of love, of beauty, that all those qualities of God come through our form. And so I like to think of the Christian holiday in a more expanded way, to think of it as how we too are emanations of the divine. We too are part of the creative process that is forever unfolding. And so for me, it marks that turning point in our evolution. The turning point when we begin to see that God is not some sky god, something far off, but it is a power that is born and moves and has its life through us. And long before Christmas became a thing and the pagans celebrated the winter solstice. And as a matter of fact, as you've heard me share before, and it's all over the media these days, you just look it up. You'll find all those wonderful practices that we have instituted, at least in the U.S., for the Christmas holiday. Many of those practices came from the deep earth-based pagan practices. And so I was saying to Pam this morning that, or was it Pam or someone else, but those early Christians, man, they knew how to market. They knew how to market. They looked out into the zeitgeist of the reality of their days back in the first, 4th century and said, we're just going to change things a little bit, and it'll look like the things they've been practicing all along. Yeah, and what I've noticed is as I've noticed as I've looked at history and I've looked at the evolution of this holiday, is the more we connect, the more we see each other, the more we have this communication link, the more we are able to adopt these different practices, these holy ways, and share them with one another. And I would say that this idea, for me at least, of Christmas and Advent, of Hanukkah, all of them have this opportunity before us to honor that light. Now, the word solstice comes from the Latin sol, which means sun, and sister, which means to stand still. And before theology and doctrine, before scripture, people watched the sky and paid attention to the earth. And in ancient times, people noticed that the days got shorter and the nights got longer. And at some point, the sun seemed to stand still. The sun seemed to stop in the sky. The days weren't getting any shorter. The nights stopped expanding. The darkness did not keep growing. The loss did not continue. The seeming decline halted. Something held. And honoring solstice is an opportunity for us to intentionally and consciously pause, to slow down, to pay attention to the in-between, the liminal space at the end of the year. What we know is the darkness after tonight, the darkness has done the worst that it can do. It won't get any darker for any longer. And while the sun will be returning, the days will be getting longer, that light, as it begins to return, will be almost unnoticeable at first. And what I know about darkness is it gets a bad rap. It gets a really bad rap in our culture. It's not to be feared. It's not the enemy. It's nature's womb. Nature's womb. It's where truth gestates and illusion loses its grip. There's an opportunity before us, an invitation today to be with the darkness all around us, to allow ourselves to be immersed in it, to actually embrace darkness as an opportunity to look for the light within, an opportunity to carry the light within ourselves, an opportunity for us to move forward, even like the Maccabees, even when we don't know if there's going to be enough light. If you're like me, you like it all figured out. You like to know what's going to happen next. You like to have a plan, to be moving forward along a path and have it all laid out for you. But I want to suggest that this is an opportunity to lay those plans aside, to let go of your good ideas, so that you can make space during this liminal in-between time for a God idea. And you don't need to have it all figured out. You just have to be open. What wants to be rebirthed in you at this time of year? What is it that you want to reclaim? And so I'm inviting you to allow yourself to be in the mystery, to be in the in-between, this liminal space. Because next week, part 2 of our ceremonies, we'll be doing a burning bowl. And you'll have an opportunity to let go of whatever comes up that you're clear isn't serving you anymore as you give yourself the space to just be in the moment, to just be with what wants to bubble up within you, to slow down and to take time to listen. Like I said, Kelly, thanks for giving my talk. And I know it's the end of the year and you have places to go and people to be. You have things in front of you that need to be taken care of. There's preparations you need to complete. It's year end. But there's always time for spiritual practice. I was told as a practitioner and then as a minister that when I don't feel like there's time for spiritual practice, that is the time to do my spiritual practice. So don't let the busyness of the season distract you from this wonderful opportunity for us to inquire within. And so this morning, I'm going to invite you into a very, very simple ritual. I'll do a guided meditation, and then I'll give instructions afterwards. Very, very simple, easy, slow pace. So if you're ready, join me and let's begin. And so I invite you to just close your eyes, to get comfortable in your seats. Feel your consciousness arrive within your body. Allow yourself to be fully in this place. Use your breath. Feel the inhalation and the exhalation of your body temple. Notice the natural and organic rotation of air as it moves through you. Feeling the weight of your body in the seat beneath you. Knowing that you are indeed in the womb of community, in the womb of protected care, in this space that we create together. Acknowledge the darkness without judgment. And notice where you feel contracted or guarded. Notice where you might feel weary or uncertain. There is nothing you need to fix during the in-between time. There's nothing you need to understand or explain. Being in the here and now. Being present. Creating a space of curiosity and inquiry. Just for this moment. And as you recognize the places in your life that maybe need more light, where would a little more light be welcome by you in your life right now? And what part of you is ready to be met with love, unconditioned, pure love, not corrected or fixed, but just loved? And so I invite you to sit with these two questions for a little bit. Where would a little more light be welcome in your life? And what part of you would welcome just to be loved? And here's the ritual part that I'll explain first, and then I'll invite you to partake in. When you're ready and not before, I'm going to invite you to stand and come forward and take a candle from the altar. And those of you that might be watching online, hopefully you have a candle available to you that you can light. When you take a candle from the altar, receive the candle as a symbol of the light you are willing to carry into your inquiry and into this week. There's no right timing. When you're ready, will be perfect. When you feel ready, and if you're willing, please come forward and take a candle and bring it back to your seat mindfully and quietly and sacredly. And as you return to your seat, just hold the light. Knowing that it represents the inner light within you. Now I want to invite you to hold your light up. Now hold it high and look around you and notice the presence of the light all around you. Because you have been willing to receive it, to recognize it, to honor it. And so, as you hold this candle back in your lap, carry it home with you as a symbol of your inner light that moves from within you, that moves from a place within you that is forever burning bright. And allow that inner light to walk before you, to inform how you speak to one another, to inform how you greet strangers, loved ones, and family alike. Allow that inner light to be the representation of your own Christ consciousness as you inquire those two questions that I invited you earlier to think about. Where would a little more light be welcome in your life, and one part of you is ready for more love? And as you carry that out through this week, I'm going to invite you to notice patterns. You might notice some places where it's harder to bring light into a conversation or a relationship. You might notice a place where you're struggling a little bit. And those might be indicators about what's ready to be released to the fire next week as we move into the burning bowl celebration and the ritual of letting go. And so throughout this week, while the sun seems to pause and the nights still seem long, just imagine yourself. Take a moment each day and consider how you can be the light of the world, how you can walk this light out into all of your affairs. While there is, like the Maccabees, no lack, there's no lack of light, there's no lack of oil. There's just the conception of not enoughness. There's just the conception of not enough light. And so let us do spiritual practice this week. Let us be the light. Let us consider what it is we want to transform within ourselves as we move through the in-between space. Thank you very much. You can. Applause feels a little awkward, doesn't it? In the end of ritual. My teacher used to say, the Sufis applaud like this. Yes. And so when you're feeling a little awkward, it's not quite time for applause. Feel free to shake your fingers. And I see the band is coming up, and so I'm going to do a quick blessing, and then I'll invite our artist back up. And so I know the power and the presence of the divine, that God, again, is reclaimed within each one, that we embrace this time of darkness knowing that the light has never been diminished. It is just unseen. And so I trust as we move forward throughout this week in this liminal space that we are God in form. We are the ones that walk the light out into the world to bless ourselves and all those around us. And together we say, and so it is.